So I got Dr. Tunimal here. This is him, check him out. He does a lot of GM calibrations, knows his stuff, good guy. We're going to show him the truck, see if he can figure out that air conditioning problem, which is a fan problem. It's not an air conditioning problem, the air conditioning works. I've already got set up, already got the HP tuners plugged in and the cable. Hopefully he can just roll in like a rock star, type a couple of keys and be on his way. Alright, you're gonna need those. Yeah. Hopefully you can figure it out. But it blows cold going down the road. AC is ice cold. It's just that when it sits here. Yeah, I'll put my little. That's like a big thing. You remember everybody had one of those?
For your Thanksgiving turkey.
Yeah, it is. Oh, I need to let you know if it's done or not. But it goes, you sit in the parking lot, it just starts getting hot. I'll pop the hood so I maybe just look at the fan and see if we see it like start. Actually sounds like it's moving a little bit faster now. Now there's like a drop down chart, it tells you so much PSI, so much fan speed, and I think it's supposed to be at like 70%, which, I don't know, it's hard to tell. It's definitely moving more air, but it's not like, you know, cooking. It's not like bucking. Oh yeah, you can hear it now. That's a good sign. Let me turn the mic around, you can actually hear it. I actually got some sound. I think we got a success there.
Yeah, let's see if we turn it off.
Is my redneck gauge working?
See if it'll slow down.
Alright, let me have a look. Oh, it's slowing down. It's working. This is exciting. You know, this is like the last piece of the puzzle. As silly as this sounds, it's the last piece of the puzzle. Yeah, it's ramping back up. You take it back on?
What were you averaging on your temperature up here?
Going down the road, I could get 40. When it would sit here, it would climb up to 50. It would sit at 40 for about a minute and then just slowly climb up and get hot. But again, all the windows are down too, so it won't get as cold. When you close the truck up, it gets colder. What are we seeing right there?
60 right now.
Put all the windows in. You see, now the AC is working right, I might be able to adjust the pressures too.
Oh, no.
You know, yeah, because I just kept cramming pressure in, and then once it would kick off, I had to back it off. Let me close the door and see what it does. Yeah, but that thing's moving some air. That's a big fan, so if it's working right, we shouldn't have any issues at all. But so far, sounds good. I just closed up the truck. You've got to treat your tuner right. You've got to give him some cold air. If you want him to do a good job for you, you've got to take care of it. So he's in there with the air conditioning. We'll let it sit and see if it cools down. But that's what I might need to do, is put my gauges back on here and check it. It might be underfilled or overfilled. So one thing to note, you can hear the fan, but you hear all, you kind of see through there, all the louvers are opened, which it does when it needs to pull that additional air through. So that was working, it was just the fan. Turn this down a little bit. Might get cold when I turn that down. Alright, so I just had to adjust the shift from 1 to 2 when we had George's transmission. What is that? Oh, it's Nate's phone. So when we had George's transmission do the transmission modification, he put a shift kit in it of some kind. So between that and the program and what Nate did, I think it was a little bit firm. So going from 1 to 2, it wasn't horrible, but it was a bit of a hard shift when you're going slow. When you're going fast, it was actually nice, but slow, it was a little harsh. So let me try that now. Oh yeah, that's much better. What shift? 2 to 3? Oh, that's perfect. So you just adjusted the shifts under light throttle to make it shift a little smoother. So it wasn't terrible before, but it was a little bit of a ugh when it shifted. And if you wasn't ready for it, you know, you're going through, you know, your neighborhood, it would shift at 2,000 RPMs and it would come in with a bit of a kick. Not horrible, but I mean, this truck has such the OE feel about it. It's a shame to have just one thing that's not quite right, if you know what I mean. If there's only one thing hurting it, that stands out. It's kind of like the air conditioning. Right now the air conditioning is doing good. It's under 40. And like I mentioned, it's probably going to need to have the levels adjusted. We just kind of, you know, kept putting in pressure and putting in pressure. And then obviously once the numbers got to about where we thought it needed to be, we stopped. But with the fan not running fast enough, the efficiency wasn't right. It was getting kind of high. I think it was like 350 on the high side, and it shouldn't be. That's Nate's phone. I should answer it and book him in some tuning appointments. Give him some really good deals. So you're coming out, aren't you? Yep, you're coming out. At least I knew he was going to pull out in front of me. So, I mean, look at that. We're at like, what are we? 38. I think we got it. That's a success. So, yes. Nate's done it again. That's Nate. That's your tuner. Get a hold of him. Make sure you take him good stuff. Don't take him piles of crap. He does good work. And he does a good job for you. But, yeah, sitting at 38 consistently. That is awesome. Perfect. And the shifts are on the money. Sweet. You did it again. Now, the reason I didn't put him on camera last time is because my stupid GoPro stopped working. So I cut him out. Oh, by the way, you got a phone call. I booked you in 2 appointments. Yeah. I don't know what they are. I just booked. Yeah, I did them both on the same day. Tuners usually like that. I know I do that too. That's why I thought it'd be. But yeah, perfect. On the money. Thank you again, buddy. I really appreciate it.
See if it creeps back up. Or...
Oh, you want me to put it back? No, it's good. I mean, it was cold. I had to turn it down. It was like icy cold. So no, I think I think we're good. You got it. But the shifts are money. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted. Those things are upset. Look at that. Stick your hand right in the middle for 10 seconds is good content.
Nothing will probably happen.
No, I don't know if these are the bitey ones.
Look at that. What are those?
Yeah, they're the big boys.
No.
All right, so the truck is perfect. Now, if you've ever seen any of the builds that we've done here, I'm extremely picky. I don't like to put a motor in something and it do one thing well and everything else sucks, you know, meaning you put a big motor in and the thing is fast, but it drives like crap and the air don't work and it vibrates, and I want it to be perfect. This was the vision right from the beginning. I wanted it to be just like GM did it, except I need a little bit more sound. But after driving it for a week now, the AC is absolutely on the money. I haven't put any gauges on it. I don't feel the need because it blows down to like 32 degrees now. It's to a point where I turn the temperature up a little bit just because it almost hurts your fingers when you're holding the steering wheel. But the next thing to do is the exhaust. So the last video we showed you, we got the air conditioning working correctly. Now the truck is fantastic and everywhere. The only thing it's missing is some exhaust sound. It doesn't sound like anything. It doesn't sound like a V8 swapped Colorado. It just sounds like a stock truck. It doesn't really sound like anything. So the first thing we're going to do this in 2 stages. We have the Y pipe right here going into the 2 factory cats. Then we have a single back here, goes into the factory enormous muffler, and then it goes over the axle, and we cut it right there. It used to have a little resonator on it. So we're going to go from that flange right there. All the material is from Tycon Industries. Titanium flange, we're going to go into a 3-inch, 17-inch large oval body mufflers, and then go over the axle, and that's going to be stage 1. So the idea is to kind of get an idea sound-wise, if it's going to be too loud, if it's going to be annoying, if it's going to be drony. And then from there, we'll either add another resonator, especially where that stops. If it is too much, we're going to add another resonator here, and then we're going to come out here, kind of like the factory system. If it's not too much, if it sounds good, we're just going to make that a tube and run a tube out here. So you can't really hear this from inside the cab. But it just sounds like engine sound, really. So it's the first time we've been under here since the swap was done, and everything looks really good. No issues, no leaks. So that was one of those things that, even though we did a good job of the pan and double checked it, it's always nice to look it over and make sure there's no like wet areas, especially because it's not an easy thing to take out. But everything looks terrific. Oil lines look good. So we're going to go from this flange right here. This is the factory flex. This over here is going to stay the same. We're going to go from this flex. We're going to replace this muffler with the Taycan 17-inch oval muffler. I'm going to kind of dump it over the axle, kind of like this, just somewhere around this area, and then get a feel of it. I'll drive it for maybe a week and find out, because obviously first day everything seems fantastic. So huge thanks to Taycan. We're using all Taycan titanium. This is their 3-inch 2-bolt flange right here. We're hoping that is the same. If not, we can Dremel those holes out a little bit. The diameter is going to be the same. And then 3-inch, we're doing everything in bends. We're not doing pie cuts. The pie cuts obviously take a lot more time, a lot more labor intensive. They look nice on the right environment. This, we're going to go for the smooth bends. And again, these are the 90s. 3-inch, you can get these in 90s, 45s. They sell straights. We're hoping that this should complete the exhaust. So this is their big oval muffler I really like. They used to offer just like a bullet muffler, and then once they came out in this, it was kind of like a game changer. Always like to do a weigh-in. So basically 33, it's bouncing around 33 pounds and 11. So that is the muffler just as we took it off, the way it bolted on. This was the section that was right over the axle. We kind of cut it there. So it would have been a little bit more. It'd probably be maybe 42. So we're hoping that number will be cut at least in half. So the flange didn't fit. The factory GM flange is quite a bit wider, as you see. So there was no Dremel those holes. So that little flex piece, we're chopping this off and putting on a Taycan stainless flange. Nice thing if you buy the Taycan stuff, if you buy it from Taycan or Stainless Bros, it all fits together. That way you can go from stainless to titanium or aluminum. Everything fits, everything is the same, which is really nice. Alright, so we went to our 3-inch stainless there, to our 3-inch titanium. We have a hanger here in the factory spot. Comes back into the large muffler. And then we have our hanger in the factory spot right there. So before we go any further, we're going to start it just to kind of get an idea. Now the factory came over here and then came down with kind of like a resonator piece right here. But of course the factory muffler is chambered, it's not a straight through. So the little resonator might take a little bit of noise out if this is too much. Let's get a quick sound clip. Yep. Check, put that little resonator in there, kind of like how the factory had it. So this was the big muffler right here. I'm going to say that made more difference than I thought it would. Yeah, might be. Back up there one more time. Okay.
Give it like one rev and then I'll put it in. right, now it's in. It does.
All right, so we got the muffler in the factory place as the one that came out, and we're gonna go over the axle with a little bit more clearance than we need. Obviously this truck is lifted, but in the event it gets lowered, we have like 14 inches of clearance. So this is the spot that we have the little resonator muffler, which is in the same spot as the factory did it, and it made a surprising difference. So we're gonna leave it there now, get some sound clips, drive it, make sure it's happy. And if it is, we're just gonna finish with a tailpipe kind of over here somewhere. It just take a little bit more figuring out, but somewhere over in this direction, kind of like the factory had it, maybe somewhere between here. Of course, that will make it quieter inside because the noise is obviously behind you. Not sure what we're gonna do for a tip yet, but that's basically the finishing part right there. We'll confirm that this is good. If it's not too noisy, and if it's livable, we'll finish the tip. If it's not livable, we'll change this to an oval muffler. It's in the spot that we can put an oval like this, but a 14-inch body. We can put it right there, and it'll take even more noise out, but that's it. This one is gonna sit and take a break. So the best way to really get a feel for it is to drive it and take it up to, you know, like 30, 40 miles an hour. And then we'll get an idea of what it's going to do. It's so nice to have air conditioning in the truck, and it's ice cold. I mean, it's sitting at like 36 now, so the air conditioning is absolutely spot on. So the exhaust, it wasn't about making it noisy, it was just about letting it feel like a V8. So as medium acceleration, so it's got a bit of a tone, but it doesn't drone. That was my biggest fear, is to make it drone and just rattle, or it sounds like a booming sound. So if you've ever experienced drone, it's kind of like having a bass speaker at certain RPMs. It just puts a mono deep tone. It's so bad sometimes it can shake the inside of the truck and sound just like a bass speaker. And that's super annoying. So there is ways to get around that, different style mufflers, different position of mufflers, you know, different resonators, different branch off tubes and that kind of thing. But there's a science to that, to get rid of a frequency, and there's all kinds of calculations how to do it. I don't see any need to put any more mufflers on this, and I think a lot has to do with the position of the mufflers. They're in the factory location. They are a little bit larger diameter, and of course a straight through design, which does make typically make a little bit more of a deep tone. But in the cab, I mean, it's totally livable. Let me get a little bit of open space here and jump on the throttle and get a feel and a sound clip for you. So I'll just do a medium acceleration right here, just like driving in the city, and it's pretty mellow. So it's one of those things, if you can hear yourself over the exhaust without too much issues, that's probably a good thing, because driving with someone in the car and it's noisy as all, it gets on your nerves. So yeah, it doesn't get any louder. That's the amazing thing, is it just goes through the RPMs quicker. It doesn't get louder when you're on the gas. So I'd say that's a win. So it really is a win. The truck feels great. It drives better, so much more power down low. It's amazing how different that feels. 87 octane, back and forth to work, AC on. It's hot here in Florida. A lot of stop and go traffic. If you don't know, the whole world moved to Florida, so now we have 6 times more traffic to deal with. So if you're thinking about coming to Florida, don't. It's a bad place. Go somewhere else. It's much better somewhere else. I was only getting 15.5 to 15.8 mpg with the V6, and I drive very mellow in the city. With the V8, I'm getting about 2 mpg more than that. I'm finding that the car has more power with less gas, and it seems way more efficient. Once you get it up to speed, the RPMs drop way down, and it'll get 28 on the highway, no problem at all, where it got maybe 25 with the V6. So everything's better. The exhaust, perfect. Next episode, we're going to finish the exhaust. You're going to see the exhaust tip that we do, how we're going to build it. And again, big thanks to Tycon for sponsoring this build. We had so many exhaust choices. A few companies contacted us about putting their exhaust on it. I do appreciate that, absolutely, I really do. But building our own Taycan titanium, there's nothing better than that. If I had a choice of anything in the world, this is what I'd do, and I'd do it right here at LHT. So thanks for watching. Don't forget, hit the subscribe, smash the like, as the cool kids say, and watch the next episode, and we'll see you soon. Don't forget, enjoy your cars.